Today we're going to continue with our reading of about the Radhakripa Kataksha. We have read until verse 6 yesterday. So there are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 7 more verses to come. We made it in one day for 6 verses. So today I have to go a little faster through the nectar. But before we do that, we all chant Mangal Charana prayers. Yes? Please chant along with me. We can chant all together. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjara Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vichatan Vitam Shah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhakti Avatara Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. What happened? Mangalacharna prayers. We're still chanting Mangalacharna prayers. Please. But there was a page 2 of the Mangalacharna prayers. Next page. Okay. Now you can go to the next page. One more page. Yes. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namastute, Jayatam Surator Pangor, Mama Mandir, Matergati, Matsarvasva Padambojo, Radha Madana Mohano, Tapta Kanchana Gourangi, Radhe Vindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare. So in continuation we are going to shortly sing the verse number 7 together. So, you whose arms resemble young lotus stems, like swaying tendrils in the waves, whose blue eyes give glances as restless as the uttermost ends of these tendrils when they dance. Actually, we read this verse yesterday. We read it yesterday, so we are next. We can go to the next one. Oh, very good. We have a little more time. We read this yesterday. Today we will sing number 8. Yes. Do you find number 8? Yeah? So, one more time. Suvarnamali kanchita tireka kampu kanta kirti sutra mangali gunati ratna pitti pitti. Suvarnamali kanchita tireka kampu kanta kirti sutra mangali gunati ratna pitti pitti. Sanoma kumbala nama kumbala kunti vishwasi namante kala So, you whose neck is adorned with golden ornaments and drawn like a shell with 3 lines. On Radharani's neck there are 3 lines. Whose triple band of happiness is studded with 3-colored glittering jewels like that of a young bride, and whose blue-black braids, into which whole tufts of flower are woven, swing back and forth. When will you make me the recipient of your kripa kataksha, your graceful sidelong glance? I was mentioning yesterday that the whole mood of this prayer is longing for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, longing for service to her. And the sideway glance means actually, please, Srimati Radharani, give me also a little service at your lotus feet. So this verse is describing her neck and her ornaments and her tuft of hair. Radharani always, her braid is woven, and at the end of the braid there are flowers. So Manjaris put flowers in the hairs of Radharani because they think Radharani is going to be offered to Krishna. Just like when a pujari offers something on the altar, they always put also a little one flower. They put a flower. So Manjaris put flowers in hair of Radharani because they feel, oh, she's going to Krishna. So these flowers are for Krishna. Yeah? You're wearing a pure gold necklace, which represents your eternal youth, beauty, and compassion. Your neck is like an auspicious shell, like a conch shell, on which there are naturally always 3 lines. You're also wearing a necklace made of 3 strands of black pearls that praise your extraordinary qualities. 3 immeasurably shiny pieces of jewelry hang from this necklace, which represent your manjaris, your sakis, and yourself. Your manjaris, which are like your own body, your sakis, which reflect your moods and your own self, your innermost heartful of prema, your bluish black braid, adorned with many beautiful flowers, dances on your shoulders as you run to your rendezvous. So this verse describes some of the decoration and ornaments of Radharani that she wears on her body. All the ornaments and signs on Srimati Radhika's body are extremely auspicious. Auspicious means above all that they are attractive to Krishna. Yeah? All the decorations are very attractive to Krishna to make the encounter of them to bring Radha and Krishna together to become very nice and auspicious. So first of all, Radharani is described as wearing a golden necklace. Suvarna means very pure gold without any impurities, and which has been polished so that it is whitish. Her golden necklace is a little whitish. It's not white gold, it's yellow gold, but it's whitish because it's polished. Very bright and pure. Mala Kanchita Mala can mean a garland, but here it refers to a necklace. And Kanchita means that she wears it. So Srimati Radharani wears a necklace made of pure gold, which is whitish. Elsewhere, it is described that Radhika's golden necklace hangs down in 3 loops, and that they get longer and longer, 3 times. So it's a very long chain which hangs down, and one hangs down from her neck over her breasts, and one reaches to the center of her body. And so this necklace hangs down in 3 stages, and these 3 loops of her golden necklace reveal something about Srimati Radhika's nature. So this necklace is made of gold, which is also the color of Srimati Radharani. It also corresponds to Radharani's very pure and radiant nature. So what do these golden loops indicate? They indicate the aspect of her nature. In the last verse, we read the word Ashesha. This has been used to indicate her unlimited qualities. Ashesha means unlimited. Among these qualities, we said yesterday that Srila Rupa Goswami mentions she has 20 very special qualities, but actually they are unlimited. This is just for our understanding. Among these, Srimati Radhika has 3 special qualities indicated with this necklace. So these 3 qualities, her ever-fresh youth is the first, and her enchanting, attractive beauty is the second, and the third is her compassionate kindness. So these 3 aspects are shown in this necklace. So they are also inner dharma, her intrinsic real nature. And there is no difference between her golden form and these qualities, which are also like pure and beautiful gold. She always wears this necklace with the 3 loops, indicating that these 3 qualities, lovely, enchanting beauty, youth, and compassion. So all these qualities are very attractive to Krishna. Srimati Radhika thus has these 3 golden ribbons. She also has 3 rekha, 3 lines on her neck, 3 rekha, and Kantake means it's on her neck, and Kambu means that her neck is like a conch. A conch shell is something very auspicious. It means puja, worship. Conch shell resembles, it's a symbol of puja. We use it also on the altar in different ways. So you blow the conch shell, and the sounds carry the auspicious effect of her puja to the whole universe. Radhika's neck is compared to that. Whatever comes out of her neck, her voice, is just a glorification and puja of Krishna. Everything that Radhika speaks, every sound that her lips comes through her throat, indicate the worship of Krishna. In the Brahmara Gita, in Song of the Bee, in Srimad Bhagavatam, when the bumblebee comes to Radhika, she begins to rebuke her by saying, "Oh, you are only the unreliable servant of an unreliable master." She uses all the different types of 10 varieties of speech in delusion called Chitra Jalpa. This is the Sanskrit technical term when you want to rebuke someone. So she uses the 10 different one of them. There are 10 different levels of Radhika's insults to Krishna, accusations, and even rejection. But these angry, beautiful words of Radhika and the gopis are more attractive to Krishna than all the sweet, lovely hymns of the Vedas. They are the angry, rebuking words of the gopis, especially of Radhika. And she is expert, who knows what gives Krishna the most pleasure. In this way, everything she speaks is auspicious because it gives Krishna pleasure. Sometimes when Srimati Radhika is in separation, her rejection of Krishna, which she speaks to her gopi friends, "Oh, I will never again associate with that black cowherd boy, Krishna." So she rejects him. But then, at the same, she begins to describe this Krishna about whom she does not want to speak. she cannot leave Krishna, nor can she stop talking about him or writing about him. So all these words, Srimati Radhika, are very, very auspicious because they please Krishna's ears. In this respect, Radhika's neck is like a conch which is used to worship Krishna. Around her neck, she wears a Trisutra Mangali, these 3 strands of black pearls. And it's worn when a girl is married. In Braj, when a girl is married, they give her 3 strands of black pearls. So she wears these small beads in a row of 3, just as we wear Tulsi bead in 3 rows. No? So when we want to surrender to Guru and Radha Krishna, this means that when a girl gets married, she is now with her husband. And her mind, body, and life, these are the 3 strands, mind, body, life, are the consorts of her husband. Therefore, all girls wear such a necklace when they get married. So Radhika also wears it, and we can understand that she does not wear it for Abhimanyu, her so-called husband, but for Krishna. She has dedicated her body to the service of this black Krishna, and she has given her life for his happiness. Tan, man, jivan, body, mind, and life. For this black Krishna, she is not devoted to him in marriage, but is bound in reality so much more than just marriage. So this Trisutra means that she will meet Krishna by being Mangali Guna, that is, possessing the qualities of bliss. How? She will meet Krishna with her mind, she will meet him with her body, and she will meet Krishna with her life itself, just to please him. Mind, body, and life are entirely for pleasing Krishna. Thus this Trisutra, Triratna, has 3 jewels. A jewel hangs from each of the 3 strands of Radhika's Trisutras. And these jewels also point to something. One strand represents her body, Tan, and on this strand hangs jewel that mark her manjaris. So her manjaris are her own body. I was explaining to you when in the first verse of Vilapa Kusumanjali, when Rati Manjari meets Rupa Manjari, she tells her, "Oh, your lip is bitten. You have some injury on your lip, but your husband is long time away. How is this?" She's remarking that actually Krishna bit the lip of Radhika, and since Radhika's lip was bitten, this bite was sewn on the form of Rupa Manjari, because whatever happens to Radhika's form happens also to Rupa Manjari's form, Rupa Manjari. And whatever feelings and love Radhika feels, it happens also in the heart of Rati Manjari. Rati, feeling, love, and Rupa. So these 2. So they carry whatever she has on her body, and she carries these jewels because they represent her manjaris. So she also uses the manjaris to please Krishna. She puts them on her body to please Krishna, because Krishna loves also the manjaris. They are all wonderful devotees. Also, another strand indicates her mind, and also are her moods, her bhavas, and hanging from it is a jewel that symbolizes her sakis. The second one. Her Swapaksha Parama Preshta Sakis, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra Devi, and all the others. Her mind like an ocean filled with so many different bhavas, and she is the vessel of all the moods that serve Krishna, for each and every mood. Srimati Radhika has her corresponding expansion as a gopi friend. Yesterday we were also speaking about this, that she has so many gopi friends, she expands into so many gopis, and each gopi is resembling a mood of Krishna, to please Krishna. So they are like her mind, they are extensions of her bhavas. So you attach a jewel to this sutra, and that remarks her sakis. First one was manjaris, the second is the sakis. And then jivana, this thread that means her life. The jewel that hangs from it is her own heart, her own self. So there are 3 lines, Tan, Man, Jivan, body, mind, and soul. And in this form, 3 jewels, manjaris, sakis, and her own self, your own heart. So can you imagine how poetic it is to dress like this with intention. So manjaris dress Radharani with explicit intentions. They put every flower and every jewel has a meaning. Yeah, there is a description in the Krishna Bhavanamrita how Shri Radhika is on her way to Krishna wearing her thick, powerful hair, a braid, and how this long and heavy braid hanging down her back touches her shoulder, lightly touches it, and then when she moves, she turns her head and so that her braid touches her shoulder, and immediately Radhika's body begins to tremble, and she thinks that Krishna is touching her. And why? Because her plait is blackish, cool and heavy, like a snake, very subtle and dark, with the characteristics of Krishna. Her braid touches her shoulder, and Radhika immediately shivers, and she says, "Oh, Lalita, you should tell your friend Krishna not to touch me. He should not touch me." And Lalita looks around. Krishna is not here. And then she realizes that Radhika's feeling the touch of her own hair, had the feeling and deep impression, Krishna is touching me. Radhika's hair is of this nature. It is very heavy, and her tresses are very thick and cool, and the manjaris put fragrant oil in her hair to make it very cool and dark and shiny. So the manjaris can braid Srimati's hair like this, that the movement of her braid is like a snake, like Krishna, so that her braid touching her body reminds her of Krishna. Radhika's own nature is unpredictable and untamable, like her curls. This cannot possibly be concealed, and sometimes it becomes apparent, as in Vrindavan in the fall season, when Krishna performs his Rasa Leela, he attracts all the gopis. There are so many different kinds of gopis, new gopis, also Chandravali and their group, all come to Vrindavan for the Rasa Leela. Krishna plays his flute in Vamshivat, and everyone rushes over. Can you imagine? It's in the night, it's beautiful, cooling air after the hot summer, and Krishna goes on the Vamshivat. It's a wonderful, beautiful banyan tree at the bank of the Yamuna, and Krishna plays on his flute, and all these gopis, they hear, they rush there, they run, they don't walk, they run to that place. Yeah. And then Radhika sees, oh, Krishna has told me so many times that I'm his only true lover. But now he has called and attracted not only me and my friends too, but countless other gopis. Why are all the other gopis here? There are millions and millions. Even Chandravali is here. Radhika gets into an intense mood of longing to infinitely increase his joyful desire for her. Her unpredictable, erratic mood manifests itself. Yesterday we were reading, Radharani will never go to Krishna if Krishna is not totally surrendered to her. He must be totally, okay, you are the boss, you know. And so she leaves this place. She simply leaves, hurries, runs away from there. Yeah, there are all the gopis coming. Radha Rasa dance. Radharani just runs away. Man, this intense form of prema, sulkiness, now manifests her behavior, moving away from him through the supreme longing for encounter ever alive in her. She loves to be with Krishna, but she's angry with him that he called all the gopis. So she goes away. And she goes to the bank of the Yamuna where Shringarvat is. And Shringarvat is a little further away than Vamshivat. If you go nowadays to Vrindavan, you will see. Yeah? And as she runs through the forest, the trees grab her hair and tug at it. So she is engrossed that she doesn't even notice. She just keeps running. But the small branches of the tree get caught in her curls, pulling her hair and tugging gently, yet persistently, because the trees are helping. No, don't go away. Stay with Krishna. Yeah. When she reaches the banks of the Yamuna, her hair is quite disheveled, full of leaves and twigs, and her braided plait has been undone. All the curls come to the fore, and her unruly nature is revealed. She can no longer be covered by this braid, so beautifully braided and decorated by her manjaris. Her curls begin to loosen, and Radhika gets into an increasingly intense mood. Everything about her is meant for her beloved. It should be beautiful for him. Now my hair is all tousled. Krishna quickly finds Radhika, guided by these same branches, because Krishna doesn't start rasa dance. He will never dare to start rasa dance without her, so he runs after her. Krishna quickly finds Radhika, guided by these branches. The branches of the trees are described as the sakhas of Krishna. These lovely soft twigs and the freshly branched tips and twigs of a growing tree look like Krishna's hands. They are reddish and soft. These hands, it is as if the trees were Krishna's friend. They stretched out their hands to stop Radhika when they gently and cheekily pulled and tugged her hair, so that when Krishna finds Srimati Radhika with disheveled hairs, he realizes how he can pacify her. So he has been given the opportunity to appease her by allowing him to put her hair in order. So in his mind, Krishna thanks his friends, the trees, for pulling Radhika's hair. And he says to her, "O Priya, you are indeed my only beloved. There is no one but you." As he speaks, in the same breath, he unties the hair band in the lower part of Radhika's breast. "O Priya, there is no one like you." And he begins to stroke the bottom tips of her Radha's hair with his hands. Radhika feels this and says, "You should make my shringar. You should adorn me again. Look, my hair, everything is disheveled." So Krishna begins to comb out Radhika's hair with his soft fingers from below, from the tips of the hair. While doing so, Krishna thinks, "Oh, Radhika's hair is so unruly, and her mood is, and if I can smooth it out, then she will be meek again and forgive me." So Krishna tries to smooth the locks of Radhika's hair with his soft fingers, and Radhika is very happy. He can try, but those curls never become straight. But Krishna is always eager for the opportunity to comb Radhika's hair. One can often see pictures of the very devotedly combing Radhika's hair and her sitting in front of a mirror, looking at both of their reflections. She can see her face in the mirror, and she can also see Krishna's face in the mirror. Thus she sees Krishna and also feels Krishna gently stroking and combing her hair. I think most of you have seen this very attractive picture where she's sitting and Krishna's combing her hair and standing in the back, and she's looking at him in the mirror. In this way, Krishna tries to make Radhika meek towards him. To some extent, he succeeds. This feeling of Krishna combing her hair soothes Radhika. After that, Krishna skillfully braids Radhika's hair, but whether braided or not, combed or not, Radhika's hair is and will remain curly, wild and unruly. Her mood is also like that too, an untamable mood. In the morning when Radhika is in Yavat, when she has returned from Nishanta Lila with Krishna and has settled in Yavat, her manjaris and sakis make her shringar and bathe and get ready to meet with Krishna again. Then Rupa Manjari takes the comb and begins to comb very gently from bottom to top. She does it exactly as Krishna does it, knowing well what Krishna did. When Radhika closes her eyes, she remembers the feeling Krishna combing her hair. And as she remembers Keshava Krishna brushing her hair, she closes her eyes again. At that moment, the same emotion arises in her heart as the moment when Krishna himself touched her. Again, it's as if her separation can be lifted and be together with Krishna. You can imagine, Rupa Manjari is combing Radhika's hair, and she is meditating on the night before when Krishna was combing her hair. At this time in Yavat, she is literally burning with the pain of separation, longing to be reunited with Krishna. Thus, for this short time, Rupa Manjari Radhika Seva alleviates her mood of separation by touching and combing her hair in the same way that Krishna did. The crown of her hair, over her hair is like the hood of a snake, and the long braid on her back is like the body of a snake. When Radhika goes to Abhisar to meet Krishna, at this verse describes Radhika's hair swings and the Manjaris are also with her. The Manjaris take their long braids and use the ends of their long braids like a chamara fan and fan Radhika. Manjaris have also long hair, so they fan Radhika with the end of their braids. They pray, may the snake of separation never touch you. So they use their own braids to say this auspicious prayer for Radhika. There is a verse by Srila Rupa Goswami in which he describes Sri Radhika's hair like a cobra raising its head, ready to bite. And there is a Leela, very famous Leela with Sanatana Goswami, who was his elder brother and also a Manjari, Labanga Manjari. And Sanatana Goswami, when Rupa Goswami wrote the verse, he showed it to Sanatana Goswami for approval, because Sanatana Goswami was also elderly and also a kind of guru to Rupa Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami, when he read the verse, he said, wow, comparing Radharani's hair to a dangerous cobra is not very pleasing. Yeah. So then Rupa Goswami humbly said, okay, I will reconsider this. Yeah. So same day as Sanatana Goswami was going about on his way, he was standing in front of Madan Mohan temple, and he saw on the other side of the Yamuna, there are some gopis, some cowherd girls playing, and near a tree. And he saw there is a cobra coming down from the tree over the head of one of these girls. So he started calling, hey, Lali, Lali, be careful, go away, there's a cobra there, there's a cobra. So he became very upset and they would not hear him. So he ran there, but then everything disappeared. So he realized that actually this cobra, which was on the top of the hair of this gopi, Radharani, was actually a correct comparison which Rupa Goswami wrote. So then he told him, no, you can leave it. This cobra comparison is correct. Yeah. So Srimati Radharani showed him that Rupa Goswami has seen the right scene. So he described that scene, and that was correct. Yeah. So, yes. Actually, there's so much nectar in this one verse, but we have to move on to the other verses. Otherwise, we will never finish. But one thing I have to still mention, the flowers in Radhika's hair are collected by the Manjaris from 7 different trees, each of which has a different color. Acharyas explain that they correspond to the colors of the peacock feather. Krishna carries these same rainbow colors in his peacock feather. All the colors of the rainbow are hidden in a peacock feather, and they are also in the flowers that Radhika wears in her hair. So when you wear both rainbow colors in your blackish hair, these 7 different colors also show different moods, different bhavas that Radhika has towards Krishna. And Krishna also reciprocates this bhava towards Radhika. There are so many auspicious signs here, like the conch and the Trisutra and then Mangali Guna. Everything is auspicious for the meeting with Krishna. Her braid is adorned with flowers ready to be offered. Everything is auspicious, and with an expectant look towards her manjaris, Radha's Kripa Kataksha comes. So please close your eyes. We're going to have a very short meditation. You're wearing a pure golden necklace, which represents your eternal youth, beauty, and compassion. Your neck is like an auspicious shell on which there are naturally always 3 lines. You're also wearing a necklace made of 3 strands of black pearls that praise your extraordinary qualities. These immeasurably shiny pieces of jewelry hang from this necklace, which represent your manjaris, your sakis, and yourself. Your manjaris, which are like your own body, your sakis, which reflect your own moods, and your own self, your innermost heart full of prema. Your bluish-black braid, adorned with many beautiful flowers, dances on your shoulders as you run to your rendezvous. Srimati Radharani ki jai. So now we will sing the next verse, number 9. You have it? Yes. Nitamba bimba mangala, nitamba bimba jambamana, pushpamekala, prasastaratna kekele kala kala bimba, nitamba bimba mangala, kala kala. Karinda Sundaram Vikataro Hasoba Gorke Vadaka Vishya Sindhanam Kitoka Tapsobam Karinda Sundaram Vikataro Hasoba Gorke Vadaka Vishya Sindhanam Kitoka Tapsobam. You might see that I'm reading actually another translation here, but it's more or less the same meaning. You whose rounded hips are adorned with swaying garlands of flowers and whose bugling waist is gridded with a shining band of tinkling jeweled bells, whose thighs taper gracefully downwards like the trunks of the king of elephants, when will you make me the recipient of your kripa kataksha, your graceful side gaze? O Radhika, your swaying hips resemble the perfectly round and softly shaped bimba fruit. Your delicate, beguiling waist is adorned with a floral belt on which, filled with prema, jasmine blossoms, pearls and jewels are strung together, while lovely flowers, garlands, hang in fragrant arches along your hips and swing incessantly. This is joined by a jeweled bell band, whose little bells ring brightly and sweetly, and whose sound is its delicacy and sweetness. Delicately and yet surely and unabashedly captures Krishna's mind, beguiles it and binds it irrevertibly to you. Your breathtaking thighs, which taper towards your feet like the trunk of a royal elephant, characterize your stride, your dance, and your every movement with beauty, lightness, and exhilaration. The indescribable grace and perfection of your figure, your hips, your waist, your thighs, surpasses and breaks the sublime pride of your beloved. Only in this does Krishna experience his perfect contentment and bliss when he comes completely under your control, when he is completely free and is entrapped by your overwhelming beauty, when he succumbs to you completely bewitched and out of his senses. O Swamini, when, oh when, will I once in such an astonishingly entrapped moment be graciously and playfully struck by your sideway glance? Nitamba bimba lamba manam. Nitamba means Srimati Radhika's hips, and bimba means that she has the resembles bimba fruits. Bimba fruits are often used to describe different parts of Radhika's and Krishna's body. Her hips are compared to bimba fruit. It refers to the particular red color of her lips, like the bimba fruit. And at this, however, the description refers to the shape of the fruit. Bimba fruits are perfectly round, beautiful, and soft in shape. So the Nitamba Radhika's hips resemble these beautifully rounded fruits. At the top on her hips are the Pushpa Megala. Pushpa means flower and Megala means belt. Lamba Mana means hanging down. Lamba means long, and Srimati Radhika therefore wears a flower belt. The flower belt hangs down her hips, and on the flower belt, in turn, there are many small delicate garlands. On the belt, there are small garlands which are attached, and this belt adorns her waist, and the garlands hang in arch from her hips. Mekalagune means one who is adorned in this way, adorned with such a flower belt. So the acharyas explain that there are also precious stones in the midst of the flowers that are threaded into a flower belt for Radhika. The belt is like a garland of flowers, but interspersed with jewels. Jasmine blossoms, pearls, and jewels alternate. This is called Mekala. In Vilapakusumanjali, there is an amazing verse that describes her belt. And the word used there is Pranaya Mekala. Pranay means loved, appreciated, very dear. It also means that it's made from prema. So this belt is made out of love. It also means pranaya, the mood when Radha and Krishna meet. So this flower belt resembles a point where Radha and Krishna's mutual facing of each other and come together when they meet. It is quite an elaborate piece of jewelry when Radha is separated from Krishna and wears the belt tied around her waist. She immediately remembers how Krishna looked at this very flower belt before. The past leelas with Krishna immediately flood her mind, and Krishna's heart is also immediately seized by a longing as soon as he sees Radhika's flower belt. So as you can see, for normal people, the decorations on the altar and on the deities may not be very, it's beautiful, okay, no problem, but pujaris who decorate Radha and Krishna will do it with this mood to remind Radharani of her Leela with Krishna, to remind Krishna that Radharani has this beautiful belt. Yeah, so I know once Satyananda Maharaj told one of our devotees who was decorating the altar, and said, "Oh yeah, you are doing this now, and very soon you will do it for Radha Krishna personally." So this kind of meditation is actually very important. One who decorates Radha and Krishna should do it with full knowledge that I'm decorating Radharani to please Krishna. I'm decorating Krishna to please Radharani. And if one does this in this lifetime, very soon you will do it in the spiritual world. Yeah. When Radhika wears this belt and Krishna touches it, nor Radhika, you think of the same. No, I can't get the meaning of this. This is not a good translation. They both think of Mekhala, and Radhika's mind and Krishna's mind are both bound together by this belt. It binds Radhika's clothes together and at the same time binds her mind to his. You both share the same thoughts and memories regarding this belt. In Raghunath Dasa's introductory verses to Vilapakusumanjali, he first prays to his guru, Rupa, in his Manjari form as Rupa Manjari. He offers a prayer to Rupa Manjari. And then he repeats the same something that Rupa Manjari has once said to him in his form as Rati Manjari. Rupa Manjari said to Rati Manjari, "O Rati, you are the luckiest girl in all of Raj, because when Srimati Radhika forgot her Mekhala somewhere in the Kunja, she looked at you with a confidential sidelong glance to send you to the Kunja unnoticed, and you brought the flower belt so that no one else could notice the belt was missing. And all the Sakis were dancing together, and Krishna also danced. Then a desire arose in Srimati Radhika to also dance. But then she saw, oh, my belt is gone. Astonished, she quietly went down. All her Sakis who were present, and she did not want them to know that Krishna had opened and removed her belt just previously. So she sat there, and all the Sakis danced. So she too was in a mood to dance, but she could not possibly dance without her belt. Everybody would know that she left it in the kunja. So all this was content to Radhika's one-sideway glance. Without saying a single word, no one noticed this confidential exchange of glances. Only Rupa noticed, and it was very well, because Rupa simply hears everything, every confidential movement of Radhika immediately. So Rupa noticed that Radhika had given Rati a confidential sidelong glance to send Rati off. And Rati, of course, put it during the dance, put it around Radharani, and nobody noticed that. No? Pasantaratna Kinkini Kalapa Madhyamanjali. All these representations describe these particular limbs of Srimati Radhika, her waist, her hips, her legs. In the previous verse, the descriptions of Radhika's clothes were there and jewelry centered around her neck and chest, and this verse is describing her body. No? She wears this famous bell band made of these tiny little jeweled bells hanging along her hips. Prashantaratna Kinkini Kalapa Madhya Manjula. Madhya means the center of something, and here it refers to Radhika's waist. Manjule means the great beauty. This Kinkini, these very little small bells are so small that they are smaller and their sound is finer than the sound of her foot bells. Yeah? So the belt bells are smaller and their sound is finer than the foot bells, Nupura, which are a little larger. But the bells that adorn her belt are very small and ring very softly. The sound of this ringing mekhala is so discreet, so subtle, and yet he immediately seizes Krishna's mind. It has the same effect on Krishna's mind as the Maha Mantra. Wow. So the bells, small bells on Radhika's belt has the same effect on Krishna as the Maha Mantra. When Srimati Radhika dances, her foot bells sound, and although they are a little louder, there is another quieter sound above the sound of the louder foot bells. Although it is quieter, it is the sound of her kinkini, the sound of her bells ringing lightly around her waist. Krishna hears this sound immediately, always before any other sound reaches him. And this text goes on to explain that once one of these bells were missing, and Krishna noticed it immediately. So he started searching for that little belt, and then he brought it back and put it in its place. Yeah? So he didn't want to dance with Radhika without that one little bell, which is even smaller than the foot bells. One of them was missing, but Krishna had to find it and bring it back. What does it mean when we ring little bell? We want to say that we want to offer something, to give something. In this sense, the tiny bells that adorn Radhika's waist are also offer these special parts of Radhika's body, her beautiful waist and hips. It resembles as a puja with flowers and the tinkling of bells. Her manjaris dress her in the same way, as if they are preparing a beautiful offering for Krishna. Immediately the bells ring. Radhika's movement alone are enough to make the bells ring and summon Krishna's spirits. Manjule means immensely sweet and beautiful. Radhika's waist is described as Madhya Manjule. One of Srimati Radhika's names is Shodari, whose waist is so delicate and thin. In Vilapa Kusumanjali, there are more than 1 or 2 verses that describe the tenderness of Radhika's waist. There, worry and anxiety arise in Krishna's heart when he dances side by side with Radhika in the dance of Rasa Lila, and when he sees how delicate and slender her waist is, and how she dances, he thinks with worry, her waist is so thin and so delicate, it might break in two. Deeply worried that it might break in two, Krishna puts his arm around Radhika's waist to support this delicate part of her body. Rati Manjari remembers all this. She remembers Krishna's fear, and for this reason she takes the belt and carefully ties it around Radhika's waist to support it, so that Krishna need not worry and fear that Radhika's waist might break in two. Oh, this is so sweet. Next, Radhika's legs below her hips are described. They are described as Karinda Sunda Dandika Varoha Soba Goruke. Radhika's legs, therefore, do not simply resemble an elephant's trunk, rather, they are Karinda Sunda Dandika. Shunda means to destroy, and Dandika means a staff, and also a trunk equal. Radhika's legs are therefore more perfect than an elephant's trunk. They break the pride of the elephants. Varoha means the best, the most outstanding, and Sauba means auspicious. Auspicious, promising. Goruke means tie and describe the upper part of her legs. This breathtaking beauty of Radhika's legs is very Sauba, auspicious. And in relation to Radha and Krishna, Sauba refers that which can give Krishna the greatest pleasure, something that completely fulfill and satisfy him. Dandike means like a staff or stick. Accordingly, Radhika's beauty is like a stick that is able to break Krishna's pride. It can defeat Krishna completely. All it takes is the sight of Radhika's figure, the delicacy of her waist so beautifully. Then the gaze moves down to her legs, and that is the moment when Krishna's mind is completely shaken and he becomes completely helpless. This is what the Manjaris experience as auspicious. They are happy to see Krishna is completely defeated by Radharani. When Radhika is in a position to break Krishna's pride completely, that is auspicious. That Krishna is pleased and deeply satisfied is not enough. No, it's not about complete satisfaction and bliss of Krishna when he comes under the control of Srimati Radhika. So this verse describes Radhika on her way to Abhisar. She is on her way to meet with Krishna. The Manjaris have lovingly decorated her body. Her waist is adorned with flowers, ready to be offered to Krishna. And the bells sound, ring and call out, Krishna, come! Something wants to be offered to you here. However, Radhika, Krishna is not simply offered here as it on a tray, even though the flowers and the ringing of the bells suggest the puja, the praise of Krishna, that there's a reminder. Oh, indeed, it is not that we offer something to Krishna and he can just take it and enjoy it. Radhika is offered to Krishna for his greatest pleasure. But at the same time, it is called Shunda Dandike. Her legs are also so beautiful and powerful. Her beauty is so overwhelming that Krishna, who is summoned by the sound of these delicate bells, is ultimately crushed and overwhelmed by the indescribable beauty of Srimati Radhika. Radhika walks slowly and gracefully like an elephant towards Krishna, and with her steps, the bells sound and the flower garlands adorning her belt swing back and forth. The ringing bells constantly summon Krishna. The Manjaris describe this as, no, I have to skip this, it's too long. Yeah, these are very long descriptions of these bodily parts of Srimati Radharani.
Could we read this somewhere? Yes, please.
Yeah. I have gathered all this information within 6 months from different sources. So it's not a book that I can give it to you, you know. I, I have my notes, you know, but let me just read this one. Okay, I think we could conclude this one and chant one more song, if you agree, if you're okay with it. Yes? O Radhika, your swaying hips resemble the perfectly round and softly shaped bimba fruits. Your delicate flower belt adorns your beguiling waist, on which jasmine blossoms, pearls, and jewels are strung together, filled with prema, while lovely flower garlands hang in fragrant arches along your hips and swing incessantly. This is joined by a jeweled bell band, whose little bells ring brightly and sweetly, and whose sound, in its delicacy and sweetness, captures Krishna's mind, beguiles it and binds it irretrievably to you. Your breathtaking thighs, which taper towards your feet like the trunk of a royal elephant, characterize your pride, your stride, your dance, and your every movement with beauty, lightness, and exhilaration. The indescribable grace and perfection of your figure, your hips, your waist, your thighs, surpasses and breaks the sublime pride of your beloved. Only in this does Krishna experience his complete satisfaction and bliss, when he comes completely under your control, when he is entrapped by your overwhelming beauty, and when he succumbs to you completely bewitched and out of his senses. O Swamini, when, oh when, will I once, in such an astonishingly entrapped moment, be graciously and playfully struck by your sideway glances? So, is this okay for you that we sing 2 more verses, but I will only comment on 1 verse, because that is the purest of the nectar among all these nectars. Is this okay for you that we do like this? Because the time is running. So verse 10 and 11, we are going to sing 10 and 11 at one stroke, yeah? Aneka mantranaga manjuno purada vaskarat samajaraja hamsavam shakti kabhakti mantranaga manjuno purada vaskarat samajaraja hamsavam shakti kabhakti Vilollahem magallavi vidham charu chankam Radharani Srimati Pipaka Tapsali Vilollahem magallavi vidham charu chankam Radharani Srimati Pipaka Tapsali. You have it? Ananta Koti Vishnu Lokanam Rapatmaja Chitati Madhija Kulo Maja Virinchi Jaya Ananta Koti Vishnu Lokanam Rapatmaja Chitati Madhija Kulo Maja Virinchi Jaya Akala Siddhiritti Dikka Sattvadanna Nina Kitta Bhagavisya Siddhananta Kata Kapsata Akala Siddhiritti Dikka Sattvadanna Nina Kitta Bhagavisya Siddhananta Kata Kapsata. Can you go number 10? O goddess, whose anklets tinkling is more beautiful than the sounds of many mantras and the cooing of many regal swans. O goddess, whose graceful motions mock the moving golden vines, when you will cast your sidelong glance upon me. Next verse. Yeah, the next verse. to whom Vaikuntha planets bow in endless numbers, and who are worshipped by Brahma, who bestow your blessings on the daughters of Himavat, Puloman, and Virincha, whose toenails, anointed by pure eternal power, bestow countless mystical perfections and enrichments. When will you make me the recipient of your Kripa Kataksha, your sideway song, glance of grace? O Radhe, whose art, the source of all, goddess of all worlds and universes, and the fountainhead of all beauty, glory, loveliness, and attraction, all goddesses bow down their heads at your lotus feet and praise you eternally. Your delicate lotus-like toenails are the dwelling place of your boundless perfections, which reach perfection at your lotus feet and unfold there, ever fresh and ever immeasurable. From these, your toenails, full of generosity and magnanimity, full of mercy and affection, all blessings flow out and anoint the heads of all who are completely devoted to your lotus feet. We seek refuge in thee. Oh, may I one day be touched and anointed by one of your sidelong glances, because the eternal servant become the eternal servant of your lotus feet. Sometimes Srimati Radhika is described in many extraordinary ways. Radhika has so many beautiful names, and there are names which have so many amazing leelas in them. And there are so many different moods, and the saints express all this in their words. Now it is described that Srimati Radhika is the princess of the gopis of a place called Gokul, which does not mean that she is simple, ordinary girl. So in case there is any doubt in anyone's mind that Radhaji is by no means an ordinary girl, and that love games between Radha and Krishna are not simply an ordinary exchange of love, in that case the glories of Lord Sri Radhika are now described by comparing her with innumerable goddesses. It says, Ananta Koti Vishnu Loka Namra Padmadarshite. Here, a first comparison is drawn from the first goddess, Lakshmi Devi, who also, Padmaja means, Aja means to be born, and Padma means lotus. If you know, Radharani appeared on a lotus on this day. This was her appearance. But also, Lakshmi Devi is called Padmaja. So Srimati Lakshmi Devi took birth from a lotus flower. That's why her name is Padma Ja, Janmastami, birth. Srimati Radhika is not only compared here with one Lakshmi, but with all the Lakshmis of Ananta Koti, Vishnu Loka, of unlimited numbers of millions and Vishnu Lokas, and that is Vaikuntha Lokas. In the verse, it says Koti, which means 10 million. And on top of that, it says Ananta, unlimited many millions of Vishnu Lokas. So there are also unlimited and millions of Lakshmis, one in each of these Vaikuntha realms. Each one of these infinite millions of Lakshmi Devis is Namra, which has two meanings, in humility and to bow down. Infinite millions of Lakshmis become humble before Srimati Radhika. Srimati Radharani ki jai, and bow down at her lotus feet. Archite means praise. They are full of humility, they bow down, and the Lakshmis, infinite in number, they all praise Srimati Radhika. Shri Radha is the origin of all Lakshmis and is Sarva Lakshmi Mai. When Krishna performed his Rasa Leela with all the gopis, Lakshmi Devi came and got a glimpse of these leelas, and thus witnessed the Rasa Leela of Krishna and the gopis. Sri Krishna putting his arms around the neck of the gopis and his smiling face looking into the beaming faces of the gopis. Sometimes Krishna's lovely reddish hand rested on the gopis' shoulders, and they laughed and danced together. Krishna also whispered sweet words and jokes in the ears of the gopis. Lakshmi Devi saw all this. She knows that Krishna is not different from her husband Narayan. She thought, oh, my Lord Narayan, he has taken this beautiful form of Krishna. He has come in the form of Krishna, And in this form of Krishna, he's now dancing with these girls, led by Radharani. Krishna is dancing with all these milkmaids in Vrindavan. I live with him. I am his consort. I am living him and all the time. But he has never danced with me like this. He has never put his hand on my shoulder like this and looked at me like this. We have never danced like this. He has never put his arms around my neck and looked into my eyes. A desire arose in her heart to have communion with Krishna in such a way as he had in the dance with the gopis. Knowing that Krishna is Narayan himself, she came to Vrindavan and began to undergo austerities so that Krishna would accept her in the same way that he accepted the gopis. So Srimati Lakshmi Devi practiced renunciation for some time. After some time, Krishna came. Attracted by Lakshmi's sincere endeavor, he came and stood before her. Lakshmi Devi saw him, and she was filled with such a joy. Krishna said, "Oh, I have perceived your austerities, and I have seen that you have taken upon yourself these renunciations in a place so dear and precious to me. Belvan belongs to my Srimati Radhika, and so I became attached to you because you are practicing your renunciations here in this place of Srivan, the forest of Radhika. So I came here. What do you wish?" Lakshmi replied, "Oh, I want to dance with you in the Rasa Leela. I want you to be charming with me in the same way as with the cowherd girls led by Radharani. I want to be just like them." Krishna said, "Yes, you can. But here you are as Lakshmi Devi, and in this form you cannot succeed. You have to take birth in the womb of a Vraj Gopi, here in my Vrindavan." Lakshmi replied, "Yes, I will do that. Of course I will take birth in the womb of a Vraj Gopi." Krishna said, "Oh, good. Then you will have to grow up playing with cows in the dust of Vrindavan, so that from your birth you will come in contact with the dust of Vrindavan. You will play in the courtyards and dusty paths of Vrindavan. Will you do this?" Yes, I will do this. I will immediately take the dust of Vrindavan." Krishna continued, "Oh, you will also have to learn to make Vraj rotis. You will have to collect cow dung in Vrindavan with your own hands and make cow dung patties for the fire." Do you understand? Lakshmi Devi is the goddess of fortune. She is very, 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 very opulent, and she is living with Narayan in the mood of awe and reverence. Lord Narayan never dances with Lakshmi. There's no descriptions. So Krishna is telling her to go and collect cow dungs and make cow dung patties and make braj rotis. Yeah? You will have to serve cows. Lakshmi Devi replied, "Sure, I will definitely do that." And then Krishna said, "And when the time is ripe, you will have to marry a gopa. And then after you are married, you will have to flee from your home as soon as I play my flute at the night. And you will come to me in the forest." Lakshmi Devi replied, "Oh, I cannot possibly do that. I am chaste. I am known for my chastity. I have only one husband, and that is you. I cannot marry anyone else." Krishna said, "But here in Vrindavan, all my beloved gopis are married to someone else. That is what makes our love so extraordinary, because they have to deceive their husbands. They have to sneak out of their whole houses at night and leave everything. All their dharma is everything. They have to leave it. They have to leave their pati dharma behind, their family dharma. They have to even leave their deha dharma behind, the dharma of their bodies. They leave all that behind and come to me in the forest. That is why I dance with them in this special way, because they give everything to me." Lakshmi Devi said, "There must be another way, Krishna. I cannot marry a gopa. Never. Never will I marry a gopa. I cannot ever marry any other person than my true husband, Narayan. And that's you. I just can't do it." But at that moment, Krishna disappeared. Lakshmi Devi remarked, "Oh no, he's gone now." She realized that her chance was now gone. She began to cry and exclaimed, "Oh, Krishna, Krishna, come back. I will think it over." "Oh, Krishna!" But Krishna never came back. And Lakshmi Devi is still there in Belvan. She takes upon herself auspicious and hopes that Krishna will come back someday. And so she hopes, and the acharyas say that wherever Krishna comes or not, we do not think so. Effective, wait a minute. Effectively, Srimati Lakshmi Devi is according to her qualifications, according to her swarup in Vaikuntha. Her mood is that of Vaikuntha. She cannot give up her reverence and obeisances considering that she is married to Lord Narayan. She could never give up and marry a Gopa and live in secret in Parakya Ras, meet Krishna. She cannot do this because that is another rasa, that is another mood. Although Lakshmi Devi is worshipped by so many people in this universe as the most beautiful and auspicious goddess, she herself worships the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and wishes to develop and unfold her qualities. There is an explanation by Srila Jiva Goswami, which she describes what real love, what real prema is, and how it differs from love in this world. The so-called love here is desire. He explains that the difference is that prema is completely fixed on the beloved, on Sri Krishna, without any desire for oneself. Vishaya anukula atmaka sukhi. Every action, every deed, every thought is only for the attainment of Vishaya, the object of love, Krishna. In prema, everything is simply given up for the object of love, for Sri Krishna. And likewise, everything that is usually unfavorable for oneself is accepted with joy and in the name of prema for Krishna, completely free from any self-centered desires. In Ragatmika Bhakti, there are two types of love for Krishna found among the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They are Sambandha Atmika and Kama Atmika. Sambandha Atmika is the love of Krishna's servants, friends, and parents. They are all Sambandha Atmika. For example, Mother Yashoda. Undoubtedly, their prema to Krishna is extraordinary and of high intensity. This prema is based on specific sambandha, on an assured relationship. It is based on the fact that Krishna is my son and I am his mother. There is a relationship that is perceived within the dharmic framework. It is a true relationship. Krishna's friends also have sambandha with Krishna. Their relationship is characterized by the fact that he is my friend. We are each other's equal. We can fight together and herd cows, play games, imitate frogs. This high degree of love based on the level of sambandha is called Sambandha Atmika Prema. So we learn there are two types of relationship with Krishna and love with Krishna. Sambandha Atmika is one which is based on relationships. But the relationships of the gopis is not of such a nature. There is no acceptable reason why the gopis should talk about Krishna, let alone look at him or talk to him, let alone love him freely. Their love for Krishna is fully based on transcendental kama, the longing and desire to please him. Although they are not Krishna's consorts, which could give them a platform to interact with Krishna, their love transcends all kinds of sambandha and moves on to the platform of kama. Kama here means the desire and desire to please Krishna's heart. Not karma, but kama, yeah? Mind and body and senses. So Kamatmika Prema is present only in the gopis of Vrindavan, nowhere else. In Dwaraka, the queens of Krishna have Samanjasa Prema. They are loved with Krishna because he is their husband. They are married, he is their husband, and they are his wives. So initially they have a sambandha, a relationship in the sense of self-evidence, and their high degree of love is based on this level of sambandha. The gopis do not have this self-evidence and certainty of meeting, only calm the transcendental desire to please Krishna's senses. This is also something that Lakshmi Devi will never be able to experience, kamatmika prema to Krishna. When Krishna is at Vamshivat in the evening and the moon rises, he plays his flute, and the sound of his flute enters the ears of the gopis. All the gopis hear their own names being called by Krishna's flute. Now, that's very sweet. Yeah, when Krishna plays his flute, the gopis, they hear their name being called by Krishna. And when they start to run, but why didn't all together inhabitants run? Why didn't the coward boys hear the flute? Why didn't they run to Krishna too? And all the animals, why didn't they run? Krishna's flute has this special effect on so many. In the Venu Gita, this effect is described. It is very attractive. But at that particular time, Krishna's flute did not call everyone to him. How did the sakas, the mothers and the cows and everyone else not come? Because they were not called by the flute. Only the gopis heard the sound and they ran. Acharyas explained that Krishna was blowing his flute at that moment and that the sound produced by the flute was klim. Klim is the seed of Kama Gayatri, and this note klim came from his flute. In the syllable klim, there is a K and there is an L, which when joined together, it becomes kl. Ka means Krishna and L means Ladini Shakti, Radhika. And the combination of these sounds in conjunction with other special features produces the note klim. Krishna played this note on his flute. Especially klim means Radha and Krishna. Krishna himself and his Ladini Shakti in an intense interwoven being. So there is this meeting between Radha and Krishna. The significance of this syllable klim, the meeting of Radha and Krishna, is that what Krishna played on his flute was meant only for Srimati Radhika's ears. Sometimes it is said that this note produced by Krishna's flute sounds Radha Radha. And when Krishna plays his flute, he calls Radha. Why do none of the other Vrajavasis hear it? Acharyas explained that this klim has the peculiarity that it does not reach the ears of those who have sambandha atmika prema. This sound comes from Krishna's flutes and it is looking for a suitable resting place. What he is looking for is someone who is kama atmika. Any sambandha other than Madhurya Ras is like a resistance, an obstruction in the ears when Krishna plays that particular klim. Such sambandha means that something covers the ear. So this note klim can only fall into the ears of someone, the only one who has kamatmika prema and whose ears are not covered by sambandha. Klim searched and finally found Srimati Radhika's ears. It is the original Ladini Shakti, and at the same time it expands into so many other gopis. So klim enters the ears of all these gopis who are kamatmika, who are in their nature Srimati Radhika and have the kamatmika prema for Krishna. So klim entered these ears, and in case it hurt the ears of sambandhika bhaktas, they were overcome by fatigue. Yoga Maya made them sleepy and put them to sleep. In this way, it is not difficult for Radharani to come to Krishna. So when Srimati Radhika heard the sound of the flute, her ears, she ran straight to Krishna. Himadrija. Now, another goddess is described. Parvati, Himadrija, is another name of Parvati. Again, the Aja, the end of the word, means she took birth from, and Hima means snow, and Adri means mountains. It is a name of the Himalayan mountains, Himadri. So Parvati Devi is born in the Himalayas. Yeah. I will skip a little bit here. Padanguli denotes Srimati Radhika's toes. Pada means your feet, and Anguli describes the angas. the limbs of her feet. So in her toes, nake are the toenails. So Srimati Radhika is not describing the entire foot here, but only her toenails. Apara siddhiriddhikta satpadangulinake. Yeah, it means boundless perfection. Not only has its abode at the feet of Srimati Radhika, but riddhi, they increase and grow. The small lotus-like toenails of Srimati Radhika's feet make the perfections grow into infinity and infinity. Digda means anointed and rubbed in. Unlimited and infinite perfections anoint Srimati Radhika's feet. And these perfections in turn find and reach their perfection at her feet. And there, blessed by Radhika's lotus feet, they continue to grow and unfold. After Krishna chanted the gopis with his flute, actually after chanting Sri Radhika's, Lord Sri Radhika came running and saw that this note Klim had also summoned innumerable other gopis due to its potency. She saw that Krishna was sitting in the arms of a kadamba tree, joking with so many gopis. When Radhika came running and saw the gopis giving Krishna glances and Krishna reciprocating with his glances, Radhika thought, "Oh, he was secretly calling my name on his flute, and at the same time he was influencing all the other gopis and luring them here. And now see how Krishna rests his arm on the shoulder of one of these gopis, and how another one of them holds his lotus foot on her lap, and how Krishna looks into the eyes of another gopi." Srimati Radharani then leaves the scene. And it is very important to understand what she is internally. Of course, it is never about emotional categories and reaction patterns of our local mentality, but all expressions and behaviors and all moods that are described are based on the absolute love of spiritual world. Although the gopis, Srimati Radharani's friends, have no desire to directly enjoy with Krishna, Srimati Radharani endeavors to make Krishna enjoy with the gopis. Under various pretexts, Srimati Radharani sometimes send the gopis to Krishna to enable them to associate with him directly. At such times, she enjoys a happiness 1,000,000 times greater than what she enjoys through direct association. The transcendental pleasure is nourished by this reciprocal behavior in transcendental love of Godhead. And Lord Krishna sees how the gopis have developed pure love for him and how they love each other so much, he becomes so happy. This is a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8, 211 to 214. So, at the same time, Srimati Radhika wants to deepen the feelings of the festival and knows that if she goes away and he goes after her, then her deepest Mahabhava will be reflected in all the gopis. Due to the lightened appreciation in them, thus a festival of different intensity is created. Krishna searched for the face of his Radhika, but he could not see her anywhere. Radhika is the Ladini Shakti by which Krishna is pleased and gratified. She herself, Srimati Radhika, is the all-encompassing source of this joy. When Radhika left the scene, at the same time, the longing for Ladini increased in Krishna's heart. Krishna followed Radhika. He followed the path, the trail by Radhika's movements, her fragrance and her man in the forest. Everything became a sign of Krishna. Radhika ran away to the other banks of the Yamuna, to Man Sarovar. As she sat there at Man Sarovar, she thought with sorrow, "Oh, I was in Yavat, longing for it and desiring to meet Krishna. Then I heard this flute calling my name, Radhe, Radhe, and then I ran after the sound straight into the forest and was there with Krishna, completely detached. I could have met Krishna, but because of this man mood in me, because of this lovely rebelliousness, I ran away. Now this mood is of such a power that I am unable to go back. My contrary mood is so powerful and mighty, I cannot turn around, go back and dwell in his direct association. So there she was, wishing to be with Krishna on one hand, but on the other hand, her seva attitude had taken on this contrary color. She began to cry. Soon Krishna, following the astonishing stimulation of Radhika, arrived at Mansarovar and saw her there. Immediately Radhika looked at Krishna, and immediately competitive and eager moods arose in her heart, and the charming rebelliousness also rose further in her heart. She also felt joy when she saw Krishna. Oh, he has run after me. Radhika turned her face completely away from Krishna. Inwardly, she was happy that Krishna came, but outwardly, pulled her veil over her face and looked away. Krishna approached Srimati Radhika and began to speak in her ear. Oh, dear one, oh, Radhike, you know that I called only you with the attraction of my flute. I only called for you. I did not call for all these other gopis. But since every good quality, every beautiful quality in everyone stems from you, these gopis who are full of good qualities and beauty that they have from you were also attracted by my calling flute. This is how it happened. I did not call the names of anyone else. I only called you. And since all your lovely qualities are reflected in them, the other gopis also came. What should I do? It was not my intention. Radhika did not look at Krishna. Oh. The acharyas explained there are two types of man hetu. Hetuman and nirhetuman. Hetuman means that there is a reason, a cause, while nirhetu means causeless, groundless, means that it arises intrinsically in Srimati Radhika's heart, simply because it is her nature to be so. So when nirhetu man arises in the heart of Radhika, it is like a short storm. It comes and it will go. It's not so difficult for Krishna to pacify Radhika when her loving deviation is causeless. He can make his flute sound sweet, he can speak some flattering words, and he can put a garland of flowers on her neck. Or sometimes he will appease with the heart of Srimati Radhika. But if it is Hetuman, if Krishna has offered Radhika a cause for his charming defense, then it is very difficult for Krishna to pacify Srimati Radhika. If Krishna exhibits his flightly behavior or has offered Radha any other cause for her man, then it becomes difficult for him. And it is also difficult for Radhika herself to give up Hetuman. Now here Radhika was deeply in Hetuman. She had good reason for it. Summoned by Krishna, she came running to the forest and saw that he was already with so many other gopis. She had good reason to be unruly. So she resisted Krishna's sweet and flattering words. She kept her head turned away from Krishna, turned her back to him, and did not give him a glance. Yes, she even tried not to listen. Krishna said, "Oh Radhe, this flute is the cause of all my problems. I have now played this flute. I will not play this flute anymore. I'm giving it up. I renounce this flute here and now. I place it at your lotus feet. I give you my flute. You can do anything with it as you wish. You can play it yourself or break it in two or throw it into the Mansarovar that you will have created with your tears. I lay them at your lotus feet." Radhe. And Krishna gave the flute to her, and she touched it tenderly with Radhika's feet. He also said, "Oh, my naughty flute, she is the one who called all the other gopis. I am giving up my flute," which also means that I am giving up my inclination to call all the other cowherd girls. This is what it's meant when Krishna lays down his flute at Radhika's feet. This is the weapon with which all the gopis of Vrindavan are controlled. But you are only Kishori for me, and I don't want anyone else. I give up this power. I renounce it completely. I give up my attraction to attract any gopi. There is only you. Krishna makes a solemn vow. as he lays down his flute as Radhika's feet. Never again will I call so many gopis with this flute. But Radhika's man was strong, powerful, hetu. It was for a reason. And even when she felt the touch of Krishna's flute, which kept touching Krishna's lips and was now touching her feet, she remained in resistance. Krishna became disturbed and worried. What did he have that was, what can he do which is more valuable than his flute? He could not think of anything. He pondered and pondered. Oh, that, my peacock feather crown. I should lay it at Radhika's feet. That will appease her. That will surely appease her. So Krishna took his peacock feather crown, especially this one beautiful feather of his beloved peacock, with a beautiful movement, and brought the peacock feather down to the feet of Radhika and touched them with his peacock feather. Radhika felt the touch. Krishna said, "Oh Radhika, I place my crown jewel at your lotus feet." Acharyas explain, why is Krishna wearing a peacock feather? And why is he placing it at the feet of Radhika? This peacock feather is a sign of Parakya Bhav. Madhurya Ras in the mood of Parakya Bhav is contained in the shapes and colors of peacock feathers. Therefore, they are like signs indicating Krishna's romantic pleasures with the gopis. There are signs of embrace and various other indications. These signs indicate Krishna's meeting the gopis, and for this reason, Krishna wears them on his head. For him, his meeting with the gopis are the crown jewel of his life. They are the most important thing in his life. He wears it on his head. It not only indicates the meetings between Radha and Krishna, but it indicates his attraction. So he proudly wears it on his head, like a victory flag. With this, he always indicates, I'm victorious over so many gopis. That's why he wears many feathers on his head, to brag, oh, I have so many gopis. So he proudly wears it on his head like a victory flag. With this, he always indicates, I'm victorious over so many gopis. So many gopis are in love with me, and I'm so victorious over them. So he carries this feather, which is like a flag of victory in his crown blows. But the meaning is secret, and not everyone knows it. Even in Vrindavan, most people do not know it. Even Yashoda Mai has no idea about it. When she dresses Krishna for the forest, she knows that Krishna loves to wear peacock feathers. So she takes some peacock feathers and puts them in Krishna's crown. Yes, now you look beautiful. Krishna knows the significance of these feathers, and his own innocent mother puts them on his head, so that he hides his smile and feels great joy at the same time. Full of innocence, she puts a peacock feather on his head, saying, "You look so beautiful, my tender Krishna." Shri Krishna always has this peacock feather, and she always exclaims that Krishna is victorious. I have even made Lalita fell in love with me. With this, he brags quite boldly. And now he says, I offer it to you, my flag of victory. My victory is not a real victory. You, Radharani, you are victorious, and I offer my flag at your lotus feet. I acknowledge my defeat. You have defeated me. Here I am. I am completely surrendered to you. So he takes his peacock feather, and in such a beautiful way, like a peacock flapping its feather field, he takes his feather and shows that he is sincere. I am quite serious. I will give it up. Look at your feet. My feelings that I was ever victorious has now completely disappeared. I am devoted and submissive to you. You have won, and I am defeated. Please accept me. So when we offer this fan of peacock feathers at the arati, the acharyas mention that the meditation at that moment is that when now all the manjaris remind Srimati Radhika of how Krishna laid his mentality of being victorious at Radhika's feet. They do this with the fan, made of countless peacock feathers, not just by one, but Krishna lays his mood of superiority at the feet of Radhika. And yet, even now, Radhika is not at all impressed by Krishna. Sri Krishna had first given up his fickle tendencies by surrendering his flute, and then he also gave up his mood of superiority by surrendering his peacock feather, thinking, oh, then I must really act like a dasi. I must be Srimati Radhika's fully devoted servant. Otherwise, she will never give me a glance. He thinks, I gave my flute, my most precious possession. I also gave my peacock feather, which is the sign of what is most precious to me. What remains of value to me? Nothing. Only my own head is valuable. That is the most precious part of my body. And so Krishna took off his turban, removing everything from his head, so that only his lovingly loosened hair could be seen. And he also undid the top knot so that the hair fell down to the sides. And he laid his head down at the lotus feet of Radhika and laid his head on her feet. Srimati Radhika feels the head of Krishna. Oh, Krishna's head without an ornament. Even the hair is not tied up. He has loosened everything. He has bowed down at his head to my lotus feet. And indeed, at that moment, the man, Srimati Radhika, fell off her. But to show that she accepted his head, Srimati Radhika gave him a small, infinitely loving kick. She kicked Krishna's head. Krishna had placed his head directly on Radhika's heel, and with a small nudge, she touched his head with her feet. On the verse of her foot was this red coloration and left a mark on Krishna's head with a sign. In this verse, it is stated that in this red coloration that anoints Radhika's lotus feet, apara siddhi, unlimited perfections are contained. And Krishna's perfection is that he will receive this small kick. He will receive Srimati Radhika's acceptance and appreciation in the form of a loving small step. In this, he finds his perfection. So, this mark of Dasi Bhav that Krishna himself plays for this mark, that she may mark his head, that is also our prayer and prayer of this Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj, praying for Radharani's merciful sidelong glance. You have maybe seen in Vrindavan many Vaishnavas, they have a red dot on their forehead. After the worship, they put a red dot. That is the red dot of Radharani's lotus feet they put on their head. So there is actually so much more nectar to read for you, but we have to stop here. It's really late. I'm very sorry. And we didn't even finish the prayer. We can finish around 12 o'clock. I wanted to have another class at 12 o'clock, but we will just finish the Radha Kripa Kataksha in the next session. Thank you very much for your attention. Srimati Radharani ki jai. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.